So why it was important for us to get involved in this is because agriculture is a strategic imperative for Nedbank and Nedbank CIB. And for us, our core thesis has always been that if we can compute a client's reality, we can perfectly interpret that as products and services, not necessarily only financial services, but that's our expertise. And that's what we focus on in terms of intellectual property development. Specifically with Aerobotics, the fact that they're working out tree health and canopy size is incredibly valuable information, not only for precision farming tools, but also for functions like our credit and risk. If we're able to have early warning detection systems, for example, that can drastically impact how we view and understand risk. And also, if you're looking at acquiring data like this and having programmable and automatable money, you can actually completely change the unit economics in the future around this. So for us, experimentation with clients was important. And our first hypothesis was, could we create client value and delight? We were able to identify a partner to collaborate with, and Aerobotics was our collaboration partner on that. For the first experiment, Aerobotics identified fungus in an orchard, and some of the farmers actually wanted to leave during the meeting to go and resolve the issue, which for us was an immediate validation that this created client value and delight. And that relationship has now progressed and grown, and we've also rolled out with several other forward-looking clients. We're now quite excited because the amount of data we're getting has actually scaled, and we're going to be able to do a lot more experimentation and testing around this as we progress moving forward, specifically tying it back to financial services and what I spoke about in the beginning, computing clients' realities to perfectly provide and better serve with products and services. So I think specifically the tools that Aerobotics are building solve several agricultural challenges, right through from pests and disease, using algorithms to identify and correct those. What we specifically focus on though is how do we tie this back into our processes in financial services, and that's probably better to explore from Nedbank's perspective specifically. The type of information coming out of here are a number of trees, the health of those trees, and quantifying them. So what is their canopy size, height and volume? We've never been able to access information like this or at such an accurate level. In fact, the way we model is using incomplete information to make assumptions to enable decisions. And this completely transforms that paradigm in terms of having complete information with which to interpret and make decisions. And so majority of our experimentation is focusing on that point specifically, creating new intellectual property around the core data and analysis that Aerobotics is doing. I think core to Nedbank's ethos is sustainability. And for us, it's identifying new, smart, disruptive and innovative ways to do this. Aerobotics is a great example of that, and an approach we would like to grow out in the future. It's a great demonstration of our commitment to clients in terms of proving value to them and providing tools for them to more comprehensively and better do what they're currently doing. So for us, that's the incredibly exciting part. This creates a lot of value for clients. For us, it assists us in terms of understanding what our clients' needs are. So it really is a win-win-win. And methodology that we would like to grow out and ultimately scale, specifically in agriculture. We would like more exposure to tree crops, and we believe this is a completely different way of thinking and actually approaching the market. And we're already seeing validation of that with forward-thinking clients. And as we approach new and potential clients to be able to provide these tools for them and to be able to completely and holistically understand what their operations look like and are doing and how they're performing. So we have established Nedbank Venture Capital, and they have an allocated on-balance sheet fund for early stage investment, of which Aerobotics is a great example. So effectively, we identify the top 100 disruptors in the world every 6 months, We then identify 12 collaborations across the group, so that's retail, business banking, wealth and insurance, corporate investment banking. We progress 6 of those into experiments in corporate investment banking specifically, and take 1 through to commercialization on a rolling basis. And if you think about Aerobotics in that context, they were identified as one of those top 100 disruptors. They were progressed or identified as one of the 12 collaborations with business banking and with CIB, progressed into experimentation with clients where we had a hypothesis we wanted to test and an approach to do that, and then through to commercialization at a larger scale with clients. Then in terms of the last objective, we table 20 of those teams with our Nedbank Venture Capital team and progress 6 through to our pre-investment committee, and then 3 through our investment committee to actually issue a term sheet. And Aerobotics once again was one of those 20 tabled, one of the 6 that went through our pre-investment committee, and one of the 3 that went through our investment committee. So when I talk about this being a science, that's exactly what I mean, that there's structure and scientific method in how we approach this and co-develop with clients value. So I think if we look at flying things specifically, and then the advanced analytics that actually sits on here, is the convergence of rapidly advancing technologies. In the last couple of years, we've seen tremendous advancement in terms of the capability, these progressing from toys to industry functional tools. And then on the analytics side, actually having the computing capability to process the information and in real time interpret it into insights for clients, whether those be farming tools or whether those actually be financial services and products. And so I think that's what is most exciting about this. And if we project this going forward, it's interesting to look at what fixed wing drones and satellite imagery, how that will progress, and how we're going to be able to actually implement the algorithms and tools that are being developed here by Aerobotics at an even larger and grander scale. I mean, this is an incredibly exciting time, right? Like I spoke about us projecting 5 years from now and actually seeing how these technologies rapidly evolve and or converge with others, how we're going to be able to ultimately better serve our clients and new clients, both in South Africa and across the continent. Aerobotics are doing a terrific job in terms of training algorithms, and as we look at consuming even other sources of data like more granular satellite imagery or even fixed video imagery or 3D rendering of trees and looking at that type of information, we're going to see a platform evolve here for agriculture. And so for us, that's deeply exciting because it can both facilitate financial services and products, but also products across the board. So we would like to see this type of information creating data-driven products that actually meet clients' needs and enable them to do their jobs better. So I think that's what we're most excited about.